Hello all and welcome to today's Sunday Q&A, brought to you once again from the shipping shed. As Nige, my mate, says, yay, check me out, a double mention. He said, you my friend are the definition of done is better than perfect. You just keep plugging away and look where you are now. You have your own shed. Yeah, great. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, some have greatness thrust upon them. And some don't. Some are just doomed to fail and sit in a drafty shed. There you go. That's the full quote. 12th night. Did that for O-level. So starting off this week with last week's mistakes, of which there is one, thanks to my mate Nick at London Creative. We haven't done him a link for a while. There's a link to his channel. It's all a bit quirky. It's a bit London. He's climbing, walking around London. He's got two, but well, there's a link to one of them. Yeah, and if you do fancy a subscriber, everyone loves a subscriber. I'll do you one the out and about one. He says, change the title, Peter. It says but in the UK instead of by. Yes, once again, doomed to make loads of errors. But thanks very much for flagging that one out. That's all done now. So, right, question of the week this week. The question of the week, I did one. I've been sort of falling behind on question of the week. Question of the week goes out on the TikTok and goes out on the Instagram, because that apparently is what you're supposed to do now. But I've been doing it for a little while because I've had my head in trying to work out how the office works and fixing gearboxes on trucks, because I had two go in the space for a week. But they're all up and running again now. There's wood down there in case you wonder what the noise was. Yeah, so question of the week this week is, do you give an hour free on both ends, an hour for loading, an hour for unloading in total? Please check it out. They'll I'll do you a link to the website, and that'll link you to everything. Then that'll link you to like TikTok and Instagram and Red Circle. Don't forget, we're also a podcast, so you can listen to podcasts if you can't stand looking at me, and I could totally understand why you couldn't stand looking at me, just couldn't understand why you could actually stand listening to me. But yeah, so they're all out there. So, but without further ado, the couple of videos this week's post a load, because I kept promising, as I'm sitting in the office, to show you the peek behind the velvet curtain, how the courier exchange works when you're sitting in a desk, how to post a load. It's relatively straightforward, I've got to be honest with you. It's not kind of like explaining how to play the flute or build a box girder bridge. It's kind of, you click the bit that says post load, enter the details and press post load. It's kind of there. But I kind of thought the nuances might help. So Leachy says, seems pretty straightforward, although I can see why some shippers like to send some of the details by text. The main reason that a lot of people want to send by text is there was a fear for a little while that other people, you know, because the CX will do an app for us owner drivers, but they also do apps for other people. So they do, if you've got an agency, if you've got a big firm, they'll do apps for you guys too. So and if you do that, and there was a fear that some of the other firms could see our jobs. So what they were doing is they'd get the job and then they'd look at it and they'd approach the customer directly. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I've never bothered texting through. I've always sent everything back through the CX and I've always been absolutely fine. But that's partly what that's about. But yeah, no, normally I find it's much easier to just do it on the portal and send it through. It's kind of, it's designed for it, isn't it? You know. Cowboy Dan says, sometimes when I get accepted a job from the shipper, it comes through straight away. And other times it takes 10 minutes and it gets to the point I'm thinking of ringing them back. Is it a case where they may not be by a computer, a couple of clicks for it to go through, or is it a bit more complicated? I would say, Dan, a lot of the time it's because they've accepted the job but they're not in the office, they're driving, they've decided to go and make a cup of tea. You know, normally if you send it through on a computer, it's like an email. You should get it through in front of a computer, you send it through on a computer, you should get it instantly. If anyone knows any better, because bear in mind I haven't got a clue what I'm doing and I'm still totally new to all this, please let me know and I shall put Dan straight with my errors next week. Hong Kong Fooey says, how many never read the notes and bid regardless? Yeah, that happened twice and I feel bad about it because someone goes, oh, I'll take that job, I'll take that job. But I mean, a lot of the times I've noticed now when it says e-quotes only or just getting quotes, what they mean is the customer's rung them and they've said, how much would it cost if I wanted a lorry to go from here to here? And they say, I'll find out. So when you see things like just quotes, the chances are the job's not going ahead. And it's worth knowing that, because sometimes you can get quite demoralised when you're quoting loads and loads of jobs and none of them are coming through. And it helps us to understand that some of them might not even be real jobs. And if they were real jobs, there's probably a better than average chance that you might have won them. So try and stick to your guns and try not to get dispirited, but, you know, find a middle ground. Right, so that was it on post and load. I also did one from my mate Giuseppe on ratchet straps. Because I was in there, I had to go in for some reason. That's right, we were doing a job for him. And I went in to say that, you know, it looked like it was going to go sideways. Basically, we got to site with a pickup of 11 o'clock. And we got there at 10:30, only to be told that it wasn't going to be ready till 1:30. And I kind of went, I don't know if I can hang around till 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock at the earliest. And I went, I don't know if I can leave the driver there that long, mate. I can't leave him sitting there for 3.5 hours. He said, I need you to sit there, otherwise I'm in trouble. As it turned out, he was loaded and gone by 1:30, so it wasn't, and he was only going to Watford. So it's not the end of the world, like, you know. Shane, but no, while I was there, I went, well, look, while I'm here, let me do this video. And honestly, I don't get anything out of it. I've just done it because I think he's cheap. The straps are really good. I'll do you a link. We'll do a link to the Ratchet straps video because Giuseppe's my mate. But have a look yourself. You know, he's based in the UK. I know he's based in the UK. You know he's based in the UK. You've just watched me wander around his warehouse. So unless I got on an aeroplane and flew to Buenos Aires, where Ratchet straps come from, that's where they originate from. Ratchet straps, cactuses, and yo-yos. Yeah. That's definitely true, and I haven't just made that up. Yeah, so you know they're here. You can see them, and they're good. You check the prices out. It's good. It's good. So that's why I put it across. Just from a philanthropic, let's help everybody point of view. You want to get in if you need straps. He's really good. So Shane Hardy says he finally got the video from the strap guy. How much did it take you to convince him? Wasn't a lot of convincing. I just kind of went, Giuseppe, give me 2 minutes. I'll just do it now. So I wandered out of the warehouse, put my little tripod up, plugged me Viking, did the video, walked into the porter cabin. She's got a porter cabin inside the warehouse. I hate that. I remember once going into Vauxhall's and I said to the guy, isn't it a bit bleak where you're in a porter cabin inside a warehouse all day with no natural light? You can't look across, you know, not like here. I've got the garden, you can see it over there. It's sort of just inside a warehouse. And it's like, and I remember saying to the guy, that's a bit bleak. He said, you know what, I didn't think it would bother me when I moved in here, and it bothers me greatly. It's like you're always in night. Because it's dark in there with strip lights. Ugh. But, you know, it's what it is. He seems happy enough. But what was I talking about? Can't remember. But yeah, so I just, but I didn't have to convince him, just went in and done it. And then I went in the little office thing and said, showed him it, you happy? He said, yeah, posted it, it's fine. Long finger, the retractable ratchet straps are a game changer. Yes, they are. They're great for a van. They're not so great for a truck because you need the longer straps to do the double pallets over the top and all that kind of stuff. But I've still got one, and I still use it to secure, or did still use it to secure my pump truck. Had 2 tote boxes on, one with straps in and my drill, which is the strap winder, and one had like just all bits and pieces in, and then you put the strap across the back because you can get done just for being on a chock. Oh, I've got a video. I've done it. I haven't put it out yet. How to get a free chock. It's great. A guy turned up, he had to pick up the gearbox to return it to the breakers. And I opened up the fan and I went, that's genius. So look out for this week's question of the week, or sort of video of the week, how to get a free chock. On TikTok, Instagram, the link was at the front. It's probably underneath as well, you know. Yeah, the only thing about the retractables, I wish they were a little bit longer. I mean, I understand they've got to do the spring and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I just wish it a little bit longer. Domain name guy says, great brand and product because every so often ratchet straps wear out and need to be replaced, so customers would automatically reorder too. The brand would be a good sponsor as a YouTube channel, use the ratchet straps to sell them win-win. It would be if he was at all interested, but he's not. I mean, you know, just he said no, I don't care. I don't care. So maybe one day I'll get a sponsor. Anyone want to sponsor me? Porridge oats, work boots. Don't know what's in porridge oats. And finally on this one, is it finally on this one? Yep. Neptune Carriers, our man in Scotland, says you can take the boy out of the market, but you can't take the market from the man. Top job. Ladies and gentlemen, come on now, girls. Oh, your strawberry, best banana, salad, tomato. Cheap enough to throw at the cat to make the baby laugh. Yeah, you're right, still in there. Right, so trucks this week. it was what we got. The main known guy, as usual, is forwarding the we are all going to be driving electric vehicles from next Tuesday. He's a man on the electric vehicles. He's our man. Maybe we'll make you the electric vehicle correspondent. We've got our man in Scotland. We've got Neptune Crew. We've got our man in Ireland, who's John. How do you fancy being the electric vehicle correspondent? He comments every week. I think it's the least we can do, So he said Pepsi are using Tesla trucks now, and at some point Amazon will use Tesla trucks as well. He also said within 7 years all trucks will be ULEZ compliant. If the UK is going electric in 2030, with the new Skoda Keystart engines, it's now a phone that starts your truck. The owner has to place their phone on the centre console for the engine to start, which may be a feature that may be introduced in truck manufacturers, presumably to stop you picking your phone up. Because if you pick your phone up, the vehicle stops. I wonder about those ones though. It's like keyless entry. And also, there was when my wife was working at not the estate agents, the builders firm, and they all had company cars and stuff like that. One of the guys had like a brand new Range Rover, brand new BMW, something like that. It was nicked in under 2 minutes, and the police said, even if you'd have seen them walking up the driveway about to steal your car out your bedroom window, by the time you got downstairs, they would have been gone. It literally is a laptop with your phone, click, open, click, start, drive away. Keys, you can't do that. I'm a traditionalist, I like keys. Keys work. And then he goes on, after being the electric vehicle correspondent, he said this week, August the 7th, there's been a collision between a driverless car and a Class 1 HGV Arctic in San Francisco. Type of collision between the truck and a Google, so you can see the pic. He says, can you imagine the driver going to get the details from the driverless car, only to realise there is no driver, and the driver telling their boss they've had a collision with a driverless car. This is a scenario that shippers in the UK will face before 2026. It's like, you've been drinking? Driverless cars? No, we all know they exist now, don't we? We just don't see them. We will see them. It's the future. But yeah, who knows which way it's going to go, mate? I do wonder. So, still on trucks, Brian Webb says, referring to good daft dealers in the bed bucks hearts area, there are none. He says the only thing they ever get right the first time is their invoice. I dare say it's probably dearer than it's supposed to be. Would be cheaper to park it at motorway services for a week. You would get the same done. Absolutely nothing. That's always my fear when you're going to a dealership. We've done it before. We took the truck in at like 7 o'clock in the morning, needed something doing to it. Al went up to pick it up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's where I hadn't even started looking at it yet. So just park there all day. Get the mechanic onto it. Bang. Mark the superhero. He's just brilliant, that boy. It worked. He arrived at 3:30. Worked till 7:30, got the gearbox on the lorry, got us up and running again. I love that man. Mr. On TV says, good video. He says, I just need to get an O licence. I've had my lorry licence for 15 years through the army. Get the O licence. I've been talking to a guy who's joining in a van. He's got the van now. He said, what do I need to do next? The next thing is your insurance, so your goods in transit, and then joining exchange, and then away you go to pass the Mickey Mouse exam that just basically asks you 2 questions. Are you going to co-load and are you going to poach? And as long as you say no to both, there you go. Steve Campbell says, I broke down in my Iveco again on Friday while tipping in a quarry. And Godzilla's replied, I kind of like this, I put it in there. He said it's an Iveco. It's always going to end up in landfill. We've all got our trucks that we love. I like deaths. And no miscellaneous this week, so we're straight on to the conclusion. Short one today. So, in conclusion this week, Godzilla says, not sure if I should confess I have a Viz Annual that I read on the Bog Daily. Absolutely, there it is. Roger Mellies, the Magna Carta. Brilliant, I love Viz. I haven't read it for ages, but I do love it. It's also next to a load of very pretentious philosophy books, because I've read philosophy. I read this. This is Immanuel Kant, Clues in the Second Name, the Third Critique of Pure Reason. It is the hardest thing I've ever read in my entire life. It's page turner it is not. It drove me absolutely mad. It used to take me 2 hours to read 10 pages. Can't remember most of it. Oh, where's the cricket? I'm going to leave him there. Right, so that's it. That's it for this week. More coming. I want to do one on Out the Post. Like I say, there's some more coming on the Insta and the TikTok, and I want to do one on How to Post a Load from your phone, and yeah, just carrying on forging into the wilderness, trying to take care and take money.